What's up, it's you? For today's video, we're a full Applin evolution team. Man, I haven't done an evolution team for a hot minute. Now, I've done Applin, I've done Appletun, I've done Flapple, and I've done G-Max Appletun as well. I'm going to be using 4 Pokemon on this team, and the battles are usually versus 6 Pokemon, so it's quite a challenge. I've actually made up all different, obviously, movesets for each Pokemon as well. If you enjoy the teams, people, if you're at home, you can't go to work or can't go out, I'm providing you guys some extra content. I'm really trying to get those uploads going out daily, and I hope you like it. Let's get into it. I've got 2 really interesting battles today, and these ones are fairly long as well, exactly like something else. So we got a battle on my Discord. If you guys want to come to my Discord, it's free, open to anyone. I do battles there, I chat with my community. There's a whole bunch of other stuff there. The link is in the description of the video. This one was against Art Pop Rain, and we have a Sableye lead. Now let me show you Applin's amazing move pool here. So all it gets right is Sucker Punch, Draco Meteor, Astonish, and Rollout. It has pretty much nothing to offer there. So we got the Sableye right. It's going to be trapping you in with the mean look. So I was a little bit scared. I was like, what are they going to try with do this Sableye, right? Because obviously Applin doesn't have a lot of offensive presence apart from firing off, one Draco Meteor. So Sableye's going to eat a berry there, and it's going to get some health back, which is interesting. Like, usually it has like recover and stuff. So maybe I was thinking maybe it doesn't have recover. Like, it could possibly not have it. So I've got Sucker Punch on this, Attract and Recycle. The item is Staff Berry as well, and the ability is Ripen. So I've got max special attack and max health as the EVs too. Now Sableye is going to go for an encore. They're trapping me into only using Draco Meteor. So I was like, hang on. Okay, so they've gone for a mean look. They've then trapped me into using just one move. Could this be like some really mean stalling set? Now this Pokemon is a Ripen Staff Berry strategy. So what Ripen does, it doubles the effect of the berry that you're holding right. Now Staff Berry randomly raises a stat 2 stages. That is going to make the Staff Berry actually raise by 4 stages if it activates on Accord Health. Now, I have done an Applin sweep using this strategy. It's a little bit different to this one, so make sure you check it out if you haven't already. It's a pretty awesome video. I did that very, very early on then. All right, so the Sableye is obviously going to go for the Sable there, and it's going to use a Struggle combination to take me out. So, obviously, I can't use Draco Meteor after I've been disabled, right? And I've been locked into using only one move. Sort of reminds me of my Struggle-only team that I did. Now, Anchor Shot looks absolutely awesome there. That looks so cool. This is a Metronome Struggle Trapping Saber. This is just a straight up troll set, right? It actually kind of reminds me. Do you people that are watching this video at the moment, would you like to see a Generation 8 Metronome battle? I haven't done one at all. Like, maybe just let me know. I'll sort of just put out some feelers there for you guys if you're feeling for another Metronome battle. All right, so I get it on court again. There's really nothing I can do here. Sucker Punch isn't going to affect the Sableye because Metronome's actually a status move, right? So it's going to fail even though it turns into a move. It's one of those little weird things about Pokemon. So Sucker Punch is going to get disabled by Disable, and now we got the Sableye is continually waggling its white little finger. It's going to go for a damn, guys, a Stab Shadow Punch, and my berry is going to activate. So what I get right, Ripen's going to kick in and double the effect. And guess what? Guess what I get? I get a special attack drastic boost. If I hit that Sableye right with a Draco Meteor, it would absolutely down on that. That would have been so good. Anyway, Applin's going to go out. There's nothing I could have done there. I got completely countered. So into my second Pokemon, which is Flapple. Now we're going to be running a Hustle set on this one. I tried to give them their signature sort of moves as well. So we've got Grab Apple, Dragon Dance, Dragon Rush, and I've also got Sucker Punch too. Now, all the, especially Dragon Rush, it doesn't have a very good, actually. So we've got the Sableye go for a Metronome Solar Beam, only on PIMPNITE's channel, people. And that is going to be charged up there. Grab Apple is going to miss, which is really, really unfortunate. Obviously, this is max speed and max attack. I actually ran Adamant Nature on this one instead of Jolly. So go for that Grab Apple there. An apple a day keeps the doctor away, people, especially in these times. And Sableye is going to go down. Now, with Grab Apple, right, and Apple Acid, Grab Apple looks so cool, but Apple Acid is so disappointing. I don't know why they did that. Why could they not have given it a better animation? All right, so next Pokemon coming here is the Drifloon. I just went for a Dragon Rush. Man, there's not a lot I could do here. I could go for a Sucker Punch, but they could go for a status move. I'm glad I didn't go for the Sucker Punch, right? Because the Drifloon's going to go for a Calm Mind, boosting attack and special defense by 1 stage. Dragon Rush actually connects on the Drifloon, does a lot of damage, man. But unfortunately, Drifloon has a lot of health and it's able to withstand that one. And they could be running a bit of bulk in this one too. So they're going to have another Citrus Berry, which is very annoying. Now, I could go for a Sucker Punch here. I was thinking maybe they're just going to run a special sweeping set. I could take it out. Sucker Punch is going to fail, right? Because they're going to use Baton Pass. I mean, at least it wasn't a Baton Pass to minimize Drifblim, if you know what I'm saying. So that's going to swap out there. And I was like, okay, so they're going to swap into Pokemon. They're going to get a +1 in Special Defense and Special Attack. Interestingly enough, it's going to be a Hippowdon. So it's like, oh, are they going to run like a special Hippowdon? Or is this going to be like a really like, you know, just a tanky set? They're offering it a little bit more special defense. Regardless, I'm going to go for a Grab Apple here. That's sort of my only option. This Pokemon's very, very bulky. I mean, at least all my Pokemon are grass type. Alright, so dropping an apple on a Hippo, not something you see every day, except at the zoo. And it's almost going to take out the Hippowdon there and dropping its defense. Now, Hippowdon's going to go for a Weather Ball in the Sandstorm, which is super, super cool there. And that does a lot of damage to my Flapple, almost taking me out. So very, very nice combination on the Hippowdon there. Sandstorm obviously isn't, you know, it's like, you know, you have like a weather ball for hail, right? And then you have one for rain. Like, I reckon we should have like different sort of like other elements. That'd be really cool. So go for another Grab Apple there, and Hippowdon is obviously going to go down to that one. I thought about going for a Sucker Punch, but I thought maybe they've got Slack Off in there, and that'll fail. That could be really bad, right? So Flapple's only on a little bit of health there. It's probably going to take like one more hit and go down. So the Hitmonchan is going to come in. This has a lot of priority moves. I really don't want to swap either. And it can carry Ice Punch. This team is very, very weak to ice. Like all of them. Like you could like literally bring in like a Powder Snow Swine up and just sweep this team up. It does have some abilities, so some of these Pokemon does have abilities like Thick Fat, especially on Appletun. But yeah, it was still a very, very big counter. So we got the Bullet Punch there, and Flapple is going to go down. Not a lot I could have done there. Didn't really want to risk the swap either with such a low health Pokemon. So we still got quite a few Pokemon to contend with here. We've got 4 Pokemon, and now we're going to bring it into my Appletun. Now this is my G-Max Appletun. At this point in the game, I was like, I don't know if I want to use my G-Max Appletun yet. Now, what I did with this team, I definitely made sure that I used it in some battles, but some battles I felt like I could use my Flapple to Dynamax instead of using my G-Max one. So I tried to mix it up a little bit. So going for that Apple Acid there, Drifblim is going to be able to withstand the one, obviously because it's not very effective. So what Apple Acid does, apart from having like a really boring animation compared to Grab Apple, it drops the special defense of the opponent. So essentially you can just keep using it and using it and using it. So I've got just a pretty standard sentence, one Apple Acid and Dragon Pulse. We got a Thunder Wave from the Drifblim there. That's going to paralyze me. Not that it really matters too much. Now, I actually gave this one Growth so I could boost my special attack and also drop the opponent's special defense at the same time. So Drifblim's going to go down there. No more Baton Passing or anything like that, which was good. So the next Pokemon we got is Togetic. Now, Togetic is not only very, it's good typing against my team, it's a very, very bulky Pokemon with Everlight, like super, super tanky. So we got a Dazzling Scum there that's going to do pretty good damage to me. It's a 3-hit KO. Now, I'm going to go for the Apple Acid. What I want to do is drop the special defense of this Togetic. Not that it's doing a lot of damage, I thought, and not that I had a lot of coverage either. Then I was thinking, maybe G-Maxing this Pokemon is going to be the best option. So I could G-Max right now and go for an Apple Acid. You know, it might do half health. It might get it to half, or they could have some form of recovery and I waste my G-Max. Anyway, so it's not going to take me out there. Ripen is going to kick in and ripen my Citrus Berry. That was my item, so it's going to double the effects of Citrus Berry, which is pretty nice there, bringing me back over half health. Now, this was also had Hyper Beam on it too. Hyper Beam looks absolutely amazing and sounds pretty cool as well. And man, look at that animation. That could be up there with my favorite generation. You know, 8 animations. So we're going to wish on the Togetic there. Unfortunately, I was thinking here, does that protect? Or should I just go for another Hyper Beam after this move? They're going to go for Ancient Power. So I'm on recharge. I can't do anything at all. So this was a max health, max special attack Appletun. I went for a Hyper Beam there. If I went for a Hyper Beam, Togetic would have gone down. So that was really, really unfortunate. So now we've got another Dazzling Gleam from the Togetic, and that is going to take my Appletun out. Don't matter, people. I've still got a normal Appletun to go. And I had to make the decision. Like, this one actually has ways to hit Fairy-type Pokemon. Now, I know a lot of you have asked for an Appletun sweep on my channel. This is going to probably be the set that I use to get an Appletun sweep. I'm very confident I can get it because I almost got it like a lot of times doing these battles. So we got a Dazzling Gleam there. Now I've got a Moringa Berry to start things off on this set. What that's going to do is if you get hit by a special move, it's going to activate that berry, right? Giving me a +1 in special defense. Now the EVs as follows on this one. We got max health and max special defense as well. And I've got Curse to patch my attack and defense. This is going to be a Gyro Ball, Sleep Talk, Rest. Hopefully not getting rest so often. Appletun, which is pretty good because its speed's very, very low, right? Plus I can hit fairies and stuff like that. So a lot of the time I had to boost up my defense and special defense. I've got like 3 more Pokemon to contend with, so I really need to sweep with this Pokemon. Now, the good thing about this too, say I wanted to just go into G-Max form, I could go for a Max Steel Spike as well if I was versing a very slow Pokemon and I just wanted to boost my attack with Curse and do that as well. And the only problem with this set was the reason why I also ran Rest over Recover. There was 2 reasons, right? Firstly, I could easily go down to Toxic, right? Something like that, or Status Boost. And the second one was Gyro Ball only has like 8 PP at max, right? So after I've used that move, I'm done and dusted. I can't attack at all. So go for a Sleep Talk here, hoping I can get something other than Rest. And I get Rest. So Hitmonchan is going to be the Pokemon of choice going for the Dynamax Pokemon. I would have loved to hit that with a Gyro Ball because that would have, I'd say that would have probably taken it out. Alright, so we got a big old Hitmonchan here. So not often you see Dynamax Hitmonchan, which is good. Man, you would not, like this Pokemon, right? You know Power Up, like when it uses, not Power Up Punch, not Max Pummeling either. You know oh my god, I'm having a, give me strength. That, the fighting G-Max move. Anyway, it'll come to me in a sec. I'm having one of those mental blanks. It actually looks like it's coming from a fist, right? Which is like super ironic for Hitmonchan. So it's going to go for a Max Steel Strike. They're actually boosting its defense, trying to get around my Curse Boost, right? So go for the Gyro Ball there. It does pretty good damage. That's about I'd say about a 3k. Max Knuckle. Thankfully, I said all the other fighting type moves. I was still back in Z moves. They're like all out pummeling. I mean, it's a, you know, like, let's just go back to basics. It's a fist flying in the air coming from a Hitmonchan with boxing gloves, right? Gotta keep on the basics. So, we've got some more curses on the Appletun here. I think we're about up to +4 in defense and special defense, or +3 around there. So, I'm very, very taky. The only thing I'm worried about is getting hit by, like, a critical hit, right? So, another Max Steel Strike from the Hitmonchan. Obviously, they're trying to make themselves bulky before the Dynamax runs out. I'd say this thing probably has like Iron Fist too. So go for another Curse. I thought to go for like every time they went for the Max Steel Strike, I was like, all right, I've got to go for a Curse, right, to get around those damages, those boosts, and you know, damage them a lot more with the Gyro Ball. Okay, so the Hitmonchan's Dynamax has run out. I still have 3 more Pokemon to contend with here. I can go for a Gyro Ball and take this thing out. So as I suspected, it had Power Up Punch, which is going to boost its attack. So that can still get around me. So I've got to take this one out before it like crits me or anything like that. So Hitmonchan is going to go down. Now there is a Togetic left, which is going to be like really, really good too. And man, that's going to do like a lot of damage here. I actually think this is the best time to go for the Dynamax, not the G-Max. Oh, I think they only brought 5 Pokemon as well, so it was a, you know, it was a fairly, you know, they were good to bring 5 Pokemon instead of 6. So you know, I bring 4 Pokemon right now. I expect the opponent to bring 6. I don't mind if they bring 6. It's sort of like my choice. Yeah, to bring those Pokemon, that amount of Pokemon. So I can go for a Max Steel Strike here. We got Togetic going for the Dazzling Gleam. I did get a big buff in health due to that. I think I probably would have just lived that anyway. And now we're going to go for the Gyro Ball, Max Steel Strike, and Togetic is going to go down, people. And I'd say that one is the game. Thank you very much, people, for watching the first battle. Let's get on to the second one. That was a pretty exciting battle there. Like, that Appletun, right, was absolute clutch. So, let's get on to the second battle. This one was against Mr. Guzzlord. This was on my Discord as well. Once again, Discord link is in the description of the video. Everyone can join it through there. Alright, so we've got an interesting team here. They've actually got a team too. And we got a Stunfisk lead. Stunfisk Gala. You don't see this Pokemon very often. So, once again, I was very, very heavily walled by not Appletun. My Applin was heavily walled, I wish that was the Appletun, by another Pokemon. So, we got a Metal Claw Stunfisk. Now, interestingly enough, right, Metal Claw is the only physical Steel-type move that Galar Stunfisk gets. And also, there's a chance of rising your attack too. So, I'm going to go for a Sucker Punch here. I was hoping, okay, the next Metal Claw should pop me in range for the Ripened Staff Berry. And I get critical hit. Man, poor Applin. It got absolutely, like, destroyed both battles. There's nothing I could have done there. Okay, so into Flapple now. Serious time. I've only got 3 more Pokemon left. I've got to take out this little Stunfisk. So Stunfisk is going to go for that Sucker Punch. It does some alright damage to me. It's about a 5 hit KO. And I'm going to miss a Grave Apple. So I was like, okay, I'm expecting another Sucker Punch. Let's go for a Dragonette here. Unfortunately, they didn't go for a Sucker Punch. They're going to go for an Ice Fang. Ice Fang misses. That was very, very lucky there because that would have definitely taken me out and, you know, been like absolutely, like, I would have been only 2 Pokemon then. Anyway, so we're going to drop an apple on Stunfisk, and it's, man, imagine wait, I just thought of something. Imagine dropping an apple onto Stunfisk, right? It would, like, chomp it up with its little jaws thing. It's sort of like a bear, it's like a bear trap, but, that sort of thing. Anyway, so we've got the Greed in there. It's going to be dodging another Grab Apple. It's going to be going for a Stuff Cheek. So what Stuff Cheek does, it actually consumes the berry and it raises your defense by 2. So a pretty interesting move with Greedent. So now we're going to go for a Grab Apple here. I want to do some damage to this thing, and we're going to get a defense drop on the Greedent as well, which is really good. You don't see Greedent used very often, you know, probably for good reasons, right? You might be able to see what team they're doing judging on the nicknames. So now we're going to go for another Grab Apple here. This animation is so cool, and we almost took the Greedent out. We're going to drop its defense again. So we sort of made up for those Stuff Cheek boosts, right? So now Greedent is going to go for a Dig. Now, Dig is not very effective against me, so it's like, okay, I might stay in here and just go for a Dragonette. I can't obviously hit the Greedent because it's buried underground. How would you even bury underground there? I kind of wish, right, this is a cool idea for the next game. Say you use Dig right, there'd be like a little hole there, like, you know, you dig down, there's like a little hole there while you're underground. That'd be like super, super cool. Alright, so Greedent's going to take me out of the Dig. I'm definitely not sold or anything. And we're going to go into my Appletun. Now, we got the body slam for the Greedent. Look how big that was. Big old Chunkus is going to hit me with that. I'm going to go for a curse here. So I'm going to try and get this Garaball Appletun working again. I do want to use my G-Max Appletun in this battle as well. Like, I definitely want to do that. So getting some boost up here. I really need to get a couple of curse boosts up. When you look at the score at the moment, it's 5 on the other opponent's side, and I've only got 2 more Pokemon left. So I'm going to have to come in clutch here and, you know, maybe get like a sweep or a mini sweep at least to get me back into this battle, right? Speaking which, I need a mini sweep this drink because I'm very thirsty. So this part was quite long, right? What was going on, right? They obviously couldn't do too much to me at this point in time. I wasn't even sure if they had any other, like, special attacks hit me with either. So I was looking at their team. I was, like, wondering if they had any special attacks at all. I could really make use of this curse and then rest off, right, and then start spamming Sleep Talk Garaball, right? The good thing about the using Sleep Talk is you use the PP up for Sleep Talk instead of the Garaball PP. So essentially you had more than 8 PP. Rather than using Recover. I think I mentioned that before. That was like one of my main reasonings, also to get around status. So Body Slam is doing nothing at the moment. The only thing they could do is probably give me a critical hit and then swap something else in when we're on low health. Because Appletun has very, very poor speed, right? So that's probably like, you know, the one thing that these bulky curse sets are kind of weak to. If they get critted and then they're in low range, they're not fast enough to go for a recovery move, and then they get KO'd. So we've got Greedent go for Body Slam number 69 there. I'm almost ready. I pretty much need to get a lot of curses up just to do enough damage, right? Because Appletun's attack, you know, it's not the greatest in the world, right? It's more of a special attacker. So now we're going to go for a Garaball there, and Greedent is finally going to go down, and it's going to go back into its little berry tree there. Man, what's the maximum amount of berries you guys have got from a berry tree before in the wild area? So we got the Thievul coming in here. It's going to go for a Hone Claw. So like, okay, a physical set. Or maybe they're going to get an actually boost from Hone Claws and go for a special attacking set. But then they would have used Nasty Plot. So I was like, okay, it must be a physical set. So go for the Garaball. As soon as I seen this Pokemon come in, I'm like, that's going to have Focus Sash, right? There's no way that's going to live. So now Unburn's kicked in. It's going to go for a Crunch. It doesn't drop my defense. And poor Thievul is going to go down. So that's half their team taken out. But we still had 3 other Pokemon, right? Now, judging on what their team was, I could see what their team was, so I sort of knew they had a lot of physical Pokemon. Pretty much all physical Pokemon left in it. So we got Stonjourner coming in there. Stonjourner actually outspeeds a Pokemon, which is pretty rare. Man, I really love Stonjourner. I think it could be my second favorite Pokemon in Generation 8. Cramorant's my first. So that gets absolutely bodied there. All those are cursed up, and Stonjourner falls down into a rubble of rocks. Wait, it already is a rubble of rocks. So the next Pokemon we got is the Pinchurchin, and it's going to come in with Electric Surge. That is like, oh, this is bad, right? Because under the electric terrain, I can't use Rest, right? So it's like, okay, well, at least I can Garaball this. It'll do, like, it won't do loads of damage, but it'll still take it out, right? It's going to have Scald, and it's going to burn me. I cannot get rid of this burn, right? And I can't go to sleep to heal the burn, so... You know, what's sort of my options here? The Moringa Berry is going to get used up as well. I went for Gyro Ball, and look how much that does. It does nothing at all. So I'm in a little bit of a rock and a hard place here, or a little Pinchurchin, a spiky place. I've either got to stay in here, wait for the electric terrain to run out, and then use rest, or do I swap Appletun in later on and go for the rest, and then try and get the curses back up again? I have lost my Moringa Berry though, but I'm pretty confident none of the Pokemon are special attackers, or the one remaining. So this Pinchurchin also has leftovers, so any damage that I'm doing to it, mostly half of it is healing too, which is really, really bad. Now, there's literally nothing I can do here, so I sort of I'm just going to stay in and wait it out. I'm not going to waste my Gyro Ball, PP either, I really need that. So I thought even if I could just go rest a couple of turns to waste that, PP on that instead. So it's going to flinch me with Zing Zap as well. Basically what's happening is trying to flinch with the Zing Zap, and then it does a little bit of okay damage, getting a crit there, and then the burn damage is starting to rack up. So as you can see, I just went for the rest there. It's going to fail under the terrain. There's nothing I can do at all. I can keep going for Gyro Ball, but it's not going to matter, right? So we got another Zing Zap here from the Pinchurchin. It's only going to do a little bit of damage now. I get a flinch once again. I was really, really hoping that this would run out, and finally the electricity actually runs out from the battlefield. So okay, I can take anything this throws at me, right? I live that super, super easily. They don't get the flinch, and I get the rest off. But, what's going to go on here, right? If I wake up, right, and then they go for Skull, this whole song and dance is going to go all over again. So I have to wait for, I have to basically wait for that burn to wear off. So I thought, nah, I'm going to swap out, leave that for later on, and go into my Appletun here. My G-Max Appletun, and see if we can finish this Pinchurchin off. So taking some Stealth Rock damage from the Stonjourner. I mean, that actually wasn't bad for Stonjourner, because it couldn't have done much damage to me. Stealth Rock was a good play there. So now we're going to go here, finally go into the G-Max and go for G-Max Sweetness on this Pinchurchin to take it out. Now I was estimating, Pinchurchin's got a little bit of bulk to it. Its health pretty bad, but its defenses aren't too bad. So I was estimating about a 2-hit KO. Man, look at those Appletuns next to each other up the top right. There was one wearing the little green hat and one wearing the red hat. This is such a really, really cool evolution line. Seriously though, anyone in the comment section, if you've got any other... if there's any other evolution lines you want to see like I've done today, please put it below there. I really enjoy doing these. They're probably one of my favorite style of theme teams to do. Okay, so the Pinchurchin takes out like I knew it would. It's going to go for a Zing Zap. It's going to do monkeys. I'm going to be able to outspeed it too, which is good. And Pinchurchin is going to go down the next turn. Now, I've got a team that's actually quite similar to this, which will be coming up, I'd say, maybe later on the week or early next week. So Pinchurchin is going to go down to a big old apple, and that's good. But there's one problem Pokemon I see in the team preview. Here we go, guys. A big, big counter here is the Escu. So Escu's going to be their Dynamax Pokemon. Now, as I was talking about before, my team is very weak to Ice Right. Now, my Appletun, the one that I swapped out, that one doesn't have the thick... I'm trying to think if that one is... I know one of them had thick fat. Now, that thick fat is going to be... No, the thick fat is the Appletun I swapped out, right? So, we got the Escu here. It's going to go for a Max Guard, and it's going to stall out my Dynamax, right? Oh, sorry, my G-Max. It doesn't even matter. It's going to stall out my big old apple. So, I'm done for this turn. I can't do anything at all. Now, the problem here is I could hit it with a special move, but I'm going to get outsped here, and it's going to hit me with a Max Hailstorm. Now, I'm not sure what move this is coming from. I'm assuming a physical Ice type move. Even if it was special, that'd be even worse because my other Appletun would get hit hard on that. Anyway, so my Appletun is down. I've only got one more Appletun left, and we've got 2 turns of Dynamax Escu left. So the problem is I'm also asleep now too. I could have stayed in last turn with a Pinchurchin, but this essentially still could have come in and the same thing could have happened. So I still stand by my decision to swap out that. There was not a lot I could do. It was a very, very clear counter. Thank you, people, for watching both these battles. It was a load of fun, and I should be back with some content tomorrow. Peace out, guys.